We are going to officially begin our open house. On behalf of Anglo-American University, I would very much like to welcome you and say thank you for attending. We are going to give you a little bit of information about our programs, about our housing, about Anglo-American, and about Prague in general. But before we do, we'd like to share a little information about us. Anglo-American University is currently celebrating 30 years of operation. We were the very first private university founded immediately following the fall of communism, and we were founded with the goal of bringing the, at the time, Czechoslovakia into the forefront of the global community. It is in this spirit that we have continued for the past 30 years with more and more international students and a focus on quality education. Currently in the call, we have a number of admissions people. We have Ms. Yeda Sahajia, she is the Director for Admissions and Recruitment, Ms. Clea Bobin, an admissions counselor, Ms. Rebecca Newhouse, that is myself, an admissions counselor, and Natalie Sipula, another admissions counselor. Each one of us is from a different country and has a different experience with the visa process, as well as what it feels like to be a foreigner or to be native to the Czech Republic and be in the Anglo-American University community. So we like to think that we are uniquely positioned to help every single student with whatever they need. A few key facts about us. The most important are actually these two symbols at the top, the WASC logo and the MSMT logo. These are our accreditations. The WASC accreditation is a North American accreditation service based out of California, and the MSMT accreditation is the Ministry of Education here in the Czech Republic. This does mean that we are dual accredited and that all of our degrees are globally recognized. So you can get a degree in 3 years that can take you all over the world without fear that your degree is not going to allow you to enter the workforce. As I stated, we are an international university. We currently have students from over 80 different countries. We do offer high quality degrees. This is in combination with our top professors. We like to call them top because they are people who have worked in their fields as well as teaching. At no point will you have a professor that has never been in the field they are teaching you, so they can give you real world knowledge to really help you move forward with your career. In this spirit, we have well-designed degrees that are specifically focused on making sure that you can get a job and be successful at whatever you set out to achieve. Our interactive and applied learning really helps with this. We have active discussions, very small class sizes, and projects and partnerships. This is primarily because in the global community that we live in today, you are rarely going to have a job wherein you work on your own. So you have to understand how to work with projects, how to actively figure out what you're going to do next, and how to work with external partnerships. So we try to make sure that you have all of these skills available to you before you even enter the workforce. As I mentioned as well, our degrees are globally recognized, both in the US and the EU, but also around the world. For example, if you have a degree that is recognized in the EU and the US, you can also go to Canada, to South America, to Australia, really anywhere you want to be. Of course, the most important thing for any university is what we can teach you. So our schools of study are as follows. We offer business administration, humanities and social sciences, international relations and diplomacy, journalism, media, and visual arts, the John H. Carey School of Law, and our global degree program, which is in partnership with Kent State University. We are proud of our partnerships. For example, the John H. Carey School of Law is in conjunction with the University of London. It is actually their direct law program taught on our campus for a fraction of the cost. And Chapman University helps with our business administration program. Now, within these schools of studies, we have undergraduate and graduate programs. Our undergraduate programs involve business. We have basic business administration, and then within business administration, there are a variety of concentrations you can choose. These two listed are currently our most popular, the marketing and communications emphasis and the strategic marketing analysis. Marketing and communications is more the human side of business. Strategic marketing analysis is more the finance and economic side of business. But we also offer management, human resources, all the different sides of business. If you're interested in learning more about these concentrations, you can either go on our website or email us at any time with questions that you may have. Our humanities program is quite popular as well. Our most popular concentrations within humanities are society and culture and politics and society, but there are a number of others such as psychology, sociology, etc. You can also email about those. Likewise, our international relations department is probably our strongest department because we are an international environment, and there are multiple concentrations within that, such as conflict resolution, EU, specific relations, and really kind of anything you might want to get into with international relations. This program is excellent because if you're in a country where you're only surrounded by people who are also from that country, then you're not going to have as great of an idea of how to deal with people from an international environment as you would if you're learning these concepts with people from all over the world. Our journalism, media, and visual arts program is focused on where these fields are going rather than where they've been. Journalism, for example, is different from many other programs because we are very consciously aware that it is 2020, and if you are going to be a journalist, you're most likely not going to be writing for a newspaper anymore. There's going to be online publications, websites in general, working freelance, and you need to know how to meet your deadlines and price your work properly. So this is what our program can teach you. Likewise, our visual arts studies program is very aware that you're probably going to get your name out there via Instagram or another online platform. So again, you need to know how to learn how to price your work. You need to know how to set up your own studio, but you also need to know how to copyright your work because we're living in a time when that is an issue. So we like to make sure you have all the skills available to you. As I stated, our law program is the University of London's law program, but within our law program, we have two separate fields you can pursue. The Bachelor of Law program is the standard University of London law program, and it requires British A-levels or their equivalent. If you do not have British A-levels or their equivalent, then you can instead enroll in the Certificate of Higher Education in Common Law program, which is a feeder program that gives you a stronger base to be able to take on some of the concepts in the Bachelor of Law program. We also have a global degree program. This program is in conjunction with Kent State University. We offer computer information systems, computer science in both the BA and BS capacity, and emerging media and technology. You would spend the first 2 years of this program in Prague at AAU, and then you'll move on to Kent State in Ohio. This program is going to launch in the fall of 2021, and we encourage you to email with any questions you may have. I mentioned we also have graduate programs. Within business, we have our Master of Business Administration, the MBA. This is the standard if you are interested in working in America, North America in general, or also globally. It is taught with Chapman University in mind. It's their program, and it's an excellent program for anyone who wants to have a leg up on everyone else who already have standard bachelor's business degrees. We also have a Business and Law and International Markets. You can email for more information. Our International Relations and Diplomacy program is a must if you are interested in working in the field of diplomacy. We have graduates from this program who work for the United Nations, who work for various embassies, so it's a very prestigious program, and it is an excellent way for you to ensure that you will have connections within this department to get a job in the future. Our Humanities program is a general program for people who are looking to pursue higher education, but who may not be 100% sure of exactly what they're interested in learning. This is a very tailorable program. So if you are specifically interested in, say, the psychology of linguistics, or in globalization, or in philosophy, you can take more classes in those realms within this program to make sure that you're really getting a good base of exactly what you're interested in. Then we do have our Masters of Law program, also with the University of London. This program is a certificate program to help give you an extra edge over anyone else entering the field of law. The learning environment is every bit as important as programs, however. We are very proud of our small class sizes. The most amount of people you will ever have in a class with you is 25. It's usually more like 10 to 15, however. This means that you will always know everybody in your classes. It means that you will be able to easily make friends. It means that your professor will know your name and will know what's going on with you. So if you get sick and need notes, you know who to ask. Your professor is going to know that you were there and can help you catch up. This is part of our personalized approach. You will never be in a room with 100 other people feeling as though you're just a number. You will have the option to meet with your professors outside of class. We have an open door policy with our deans. You will feel as though you matter and you will be set up for success. The interactive learning will help you be set up for success because you'll really understand what goes into these fields. You won't be memorizing vocabulary out of a book. You'll be figuring out exactly how these programs work and what it means to be an active participant within these career fields. Our world-class faculty can help you do that because, as I stated, many of our professors have worked in these fields for a very long time and know exactly what goes into it. Now, of course, campus life is equally as important because you will be spending a large amount of your time on campus. As you can see from these photos, our campus is beautiful. It's actually an ancient palace that was built just after the 30 Years' War, and it is a historically protected building maintained by the city of Prague, so simply being in it is a lovely experience, and you'll find yourself excited to go to campus every day. That being said, of course, we have a few cool things to offer you within our campus. We have our student life and resources. We have an academic tutoring center. In case you are struggling with one of your courses, you can go to our tutoring center. In order to work in this tutoring center, you must be a professor, a dean, or a student who got an A in that class previously. So everyone who's there to help you really knows what they're talking about. We do have a career center. It is run by one of our alumni. She can help get you any job you may want or help set you up with people that can give you kind of a better step up on everyone else towards getting a job. This can be while you're a student or after you've graduated. Your student visa, should you need one, does function as a work visa. We'll talk about that a little more later. We have a mentorship hub as well as some really cool things for journalism and media arts students, such as the Lenin Wall magazine and Sound Bricks Radio. The Lenin Wall is pictured here. It is a 100% student-run magazine. You do not have to be a journalism student to contribute to it, however. If you like to write or take beautiful photos and you feel as though what you have to say could contribute to the dialogue of the magazine, you're welcome to contribute. Likewise, our Sound Bricks Radio is 100% student run. If you have a voice and you want to put it in a podcast or very interesting music taste, or you and your friends just want to tell jokes for an hour, these are all things that are available to you through our Sound Bricks Radio. We do have a psychological counseling center available to our students. Each student gets 3 free sessions per year. You can talk about anything with our psychologists, such as, I need to go to the doctor and I don't speak Czech, please help me, down to, I really miss home and I'm not sure this was right for me. Although, you will love it here. We also do have a lot of different study abroad options. Currently, we have Erasmus, non-Erasmus, and free mover agreements. So no matter where you want to go in the world, there is a university we have a partnership available to you, or we have somebody who can help you get into other universities if you have a place in mind. We also have some other cool things available just for fun. For example, this upper picture is of something we like to call Professors in the Pub. Once a month, we will pick a current event. We've done the Me Too movement, Donald Trump's politics, populism in Argentina, you name it, we've covered it. We'll pick a person, a professor, maybe someone who works in a field who is an expert in whatever topic we've chosen to discuss to come in and talk about it. And then you and your peers in a casual environment get to have a conversation about whatever current event is happening so you can learn how people from all over the world are looking at these things in the global community. We have law school roundtables, which help law students learn to be in a courtroom setting in a real environment, to learn to use what they've learned, but also just to practice and to become more comfortable with these ideas. We have MBA open lectures. These are particularly interesting because realistically in life, you may not succeed at everything you set out to achieve, but just because one thing failed doesn't mean the next thing will. So you need to learn how to pick yourself up and keep going. So we like to bring in people with experience with this. Likewise, you may have an idea that takes off much quicker than you could possibly imagine, and you need to know how to manage that growth. So we'll have people come in who have had that happen and talk about it. No matter what you're interested in with business, our open lectures will cover a topic for you. Likewise, we do have annual academic conferences that could be really about anything. And we have a lot of different exhibitions for our art students and more creatively minded people to also learn about their field and get their work out there. We also have a lot of clubs and connections. One of the coolest things about our clubs is that they constantly change to reflect our current students' interests. So right now, for example, we have a basketball club, Model UN, football, business, film, yoga. I recently saw we also have an anti-stress club, which sounds quite relaxing. But if, say, next semester, nobody is interested in the yoga club anymore, then that club will go away and a new one will come in. In order to start a new club, you simply need to find 2 other students who share the same interests you do, and then you have a brand new club to start. The connections are really the best thing we can offer you, however. Having the chance to be in school with students from over 80 different countries is going to give you an amazing friendship base and also future connection base. We like to have events for our students. We have orientations, we have art showings, or you can simply get a cup of coffee and hang out in the cafe. Likewise, one of our most popular events is this middle photo. It is our annual ball. It can be held at Prague Castle or the Strahof Monastery, but it's a free excuse to dress up and have a fairy tale night with your friends. You can wander Prague. Our graduation ceremonies, of course, are open to everyone. And in general, there's always something going on through our student council, pictured left, or even during orientation, pictured right, for you to get to know people and to figure out what's going on with your classmates and the people around you. Another good way to make friends and meet connections is through our AAU housing. Now, it is not required for incoming freshmen to live in our housing. We do get asked that question a lot. So if you are not interested in living in housing, don't worry, you don't have to. However, we do strongly recommend it if you need a student visa. One of the required documentations to get a visa is to be able to show proof of accommodation, and being in our housing makes that a lot easier. The address of our housing is listed. It is a company called Zeitrom. They are located in Holishovice, which is a popular neighborhood for young people. It's in the top 10 coolest neighborhoods in Europe, according to The Guardian. It is one single tram ride away from our campus, so you don't need to worry about being too far or getting lost. You'll live with our students, and there's a variety of options room-wise available. Of course, there's Wi-Fi, furniture, bedding, routine cleaning, reception, security, and you can reserve a room per semester or per year. We really do recommend it, as I said, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email housing@aauni.edu. Now, one of the reasons why most people initially start looking into us is because they're interested in going to school in Prague. Prague is an amazing student city, and it's really one of the best places you can be in general in Europe as a student. The cost of living is quite low compared to many other European cities. In total, meaning meals, accommodation, public transport, rent, and entertainment, you're looking at between 800 and 1,000 US dollars per month. Now, this does depend on your current lifestyle. If you tend to cook more meals for yourself than buy them, if you're not much for shopping and maybe you prefer to read a book in a cafe as opposed to going out to a pub, then it could be less than 800. If you love to live the high life and eat in fancy restaurants and go shopping every day, then it could be more than 1,000. But we like to say 800 to 1,000 because it tends to encompass the most amount of our students. Housing is typically around 500 USD a month, but again, this can change. If you want to live in a penthouse apartment in Old Town Square, pictured top, it's going to be a little more than that. If you are interested in just a shared room in a standard student dorm that isn't specific to any specific university, then it could be less. As I mentioned, your student visa, if you need one, does function as a work visa as well. You can work a part-time job with it and make between 300 and 720 US dollars a month, depending on what type of career you want to pursue. A lot of our students do work as language teachers. There are a lot of schools available for various different languages, but you can also work in our school cafe, for example. So really, no matter what you're interested in, there is a job for you. As I'm sure those of you who don't need a visa already know, if you are a member of the EU, you can work as well. Prague also has the lowest unemployment rate in the EU, so that means there are a lot of jobs available regardless of what you're interested in being a part of, both as a student and after graduation. It is one of the top 10 best student cities in the world, according to Top Universities 2019. It is the 6th safest city in the world, and it has the 5th best public transportation in the world. Our public transportation is extremely cheap, it is reliable, it is safe, and with your student card, you will get a discount on paying for the annual pass. It is also the 4th most affordable city in Europe. I really cannot stress highly enough why Prague is such a great student city, so I invite you to come and check it out for yourself. Now, something that is extremely important in these times is the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. AAU is offering a tailored approach for the fall 2020 semester. It is as follows. For students not affected by COVID-19 restrictions, you can resume face-to-face instruction in accordance with government and health guidelines. This means if the current agreement between the Czech Republic and whichever country you are in is allowing for travel, then we invite you to please come join us for the fall. If the country you're in does not have a travel agreement in place with the Czech Republic, so students affected by the COVID-19 restrictions, you can attend online asynchronous virtual classes. We are using the word asynchronous because if you are living in a different timeline than the Czech Republic, you do not need to worry about waking up at 3 in the morning to attend class when it's happening here. You can simply choose the time slots that are best suited for your schedule and your time zone and engage in the classes as seen in the bottom picture. We have run these classes the entire past semester. They were very successful. We can promise you it will be worth your time if you don't want to put your education on hold. For all students, we do encourage you strongly, if you need to provide proof of English proficiency, to either take the TOEFL or the IELTS exam online. These are both being offered online because of the restrictions. If you are unable to do so, then we are willing to waive the need for the English proficiency exam before the interview, but you will need to provide that exam to us before the start of classes. For students living in native English-speaking countries, such as the United States or Great Britain, Canada, Australia, or students who are attending accredited English universities, you do not need to worry about this requirement. If you're confused as to whether or not you need to provide English proficiency, please feel free to email us. For all students regardless, we are offering a shortened 12-week semester to help procure visas if need be, and to cut down on some of the stress you may be feeling about the prospect of leaving your country during a pandemic. So we will be beginning classes on September 21st, 2020, and you will be fully finished with all of your exams, ready to return home or to stay if you wish, by December 16th, 2020. This means we will have no fall break. We will just start in September, end in December, done. If you have any questions about the way that COVID-19 is affecting the Czech Republic or your studies, please feel free to ask. I can personally attest. It is very safe here. You do not need to worry. We do not have a high infection rate, and it is lowering every day. Now that we have discussed everything you definitely want to come, it is time to talk about how to begin. So you choose your favorite program, you fill in the application form found on our website and pay the non-refundable application fee of 2,000 crowns. Alternatively, you can apply using the Common App application. Many students are using it these days and we welcome you to do so. We do work with them. Either way, once you apply, we will ask you to submit your required documents. The required documents for all BA programs, so bachelor's level programs, are as follows. We will need a CV or a resume. A CV or a resume is simply a list of all of your work and educational experience, any volunteer experience, as well as your hobbies and interests. There is a template at Europass that you can fill out if you do not have one on your own. We will need a personal statement if you applied through our website. If you applied through Common App, you will put one in with them, so you don't need to worry. But the personal statement is located on our website. Feel free to check it out. As I stated, some people will need to provide English exams, some will not. Please feel free to email if you are confused about that. We will need a copy of your passport, a passport-sized photo. This photo is not the photo on your passport. It is a head-on photo that could be used as your student ID should you get accepted. We will need a copy of your high school transcripts. We will need a copy of your high school diploma. If you have not received your high school diploma yet, that is okay. This does happen. Please simply give us the rest of your documents. If you have not graduated from high school yet, then for transcripts, we simply need what you have up until this point. A transcript is a record of all the grades you've gotten for all of your years in high school, also known as secondary school. We know that some schools do not standardly issue these, but you can request it, so we must have it. We will also need you to fill out a consent to making and providing a copy of an ID card. Now for the master's program, it's very similar. We will simply need your bachelor transcripts, bachelor diploma, and high school diploma, as well as 2 letters of recommendation. After you supply all of these required documents to us, we will schedule you for an interview with the dean of the chosen program. This is the most important part. Ultimately, the dean is the person who is going to decide whether or not you are going to become a member of our student body. We are more interested in who you are as a person and the quality of human than we are in your grades. Of course, you need to have good grades, but if you had a semester where you really struggled and maybe you got a C in math, there's no need to fear that is not going to automatically disqualify you from being accepted, because we understand that life happens and we like to evaluate all of our applicants holistically. If you have any questions after this webinar ends, please feel free to email. These are the email addresses most relevant to you at this point. My personal email address, rebecca.newhouse@aauni.edu. The general admissions email, admissions@aauni.edu. And for any questions related to housing at aauni.edu. We are now going to open this webinar to a live Q&A session. I would like you to please bear with me for just a few moments. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and instead turn my camera on. And then I will read your questions out loud and happily answer them. So, hi, it is nice to meet all of you face to face. I'm going to read the questions aloud as I said, and then I will answer them. If at any point you have another question that comes up, please feel free to chime in. I will do my absolute best to answer every single question. If we get a lot of them, it is worth noting that at 4:30, we will have to stop the webinar, but I think we'll be able to get through all of them before. So I'm going to start with the top. I'd like to know more about scholarship requirements and rules, please. Thank you. So on a global scale, we only offer one scholarship. It is called the merit-based scholarship. It is offered only to our second semester students. All students need to pay for 1 full semester up front in order to get the letter giving them their visa. And then after that, at the end of every semester, we will evaluate your GPA. If you have straight A's, so 3.9 or 4.0, your next semester will be totally free. If you have a 3.8, your next semester will be 50% off. For US students, there is a partnership with the US government through FAFSA, but that is a US government thing. That is not an AAU thing. So direct any FAFSA questions, please, to the admissions office. We can help you, but that again is a US government thing. So we have, do you offer programs for students wishing to major in history? We do not have a history-specific program. However, we do have a lot of history courses within the humanities umbrella. So if you are very interested in history, I do invite you to please email me and I can happily send you the checklists. I know we have a Central European history, but we also have classes in the history of racism, in the history of the Cold War, and that kind of thing. So I will gladly give you all of the checklists for our history classes. I had a 94 average and I did not receive a scholarship. Again, you must be a second semester student, so no incoming people are able to get this scholarship. You have to already have been our student for 1 full semester. Where can students of Faculty of Visual Arts train during their studies? We have one room that is very specific for our visual arts students. So you will have all of your stuff in there. You'll never have to worry about anyone else going in that room. It is a studio specifically for visual arts studies students. What is the GPA cutoff line for the 50% scholarship? This is dependent upon how many students we have available. Essentially, what happens is a very, very small percentage of tuition each year, 5% total, is taken and then is repurposed into the merit-based scholarship. So if, for example, you have a 3.89, you will definitely get the 50%. However, if a lot of students have a 3.8, then it's no guarantee that every student will get it because we might run out of the fund before we get down to those who have a 3.81. I am sorry to say that there is no specific guarantee of the 50% scholarship. There's only the knowledge that the higher you score, the better chance you have. I can also say this is doable. I am a full-time student in addition to being a full-time employee, and I made straight A's this semester. I promise you, you can do it too. You just have to be willing to put in the effort. What is the cost of housing on campus? This is dependent on what you want. If you want a single room, just almost an entire apartment to yourself, it can be a little bit more expensive. I think it's around $600 or $700 US a month. If you're willing to have roommates, maybe share a room, then it's, I think, around 400. So it really just depends on what you're interested in, but there are a lot of different options available. Transferring to AAU from a different university, how would that process look? Essentially, what you need to do is email me your current transcripts from the different university and specify which program you are interested in transferring into. I will then send those transcripts to the dean of the program you would like to begin, and they will assess how many of your credits will transfer. It is worth noting you will only be able to transfer up to 3 semesters worth of credits. I believe it's 45 US credits or 90 ECTS credits. So if the full amount of credits transfer, you will have 1.5 years left with us. But again, please simply send me your transcripts and I will start that assessment process for you. Can you apply when you are in your 11th grade year, or do you have to apply in your 12th grade year? You can absolutely apply when you're in 11th grade. We actually have a number of students already admitted for the fall 2021 semester. So if you already know that you would like to apply, please feel free. We have rolling admissions, so you can apply whenever you would like. However, we do recommend that you always apply as soon as possible, especially if you need a visa, just so that we can be certain that you will receive that visa in time. How would I fill out the application form online if I cannot get a passport at the moment? We understand that passport offices are closed right now, so if you need to fill it out and you don't have the actual passport with you, you can simply type XXX into the passport field. You will have to provide us a copy of your passport before you come because it is necessary for visa purposes. But in the meantime, please just type XXX and let us know when you have your appointment to get your passport. Are SAT, ACT scores required? No, we actually don't accept them. If you already have them and you would like to send them, then you are more than welcome. It does look good to have them. But SAT and ACT scores are very specific to the United States, and it is simply just not realistic to expect people from all over the world to have access to a testing center, so we don't require them. Does AAU offer guidance with the visa applications? We do, yes. We will make sure that you have everything you need. We have all gone through this. As I stated, we have somebody who's from Kosovo, someone who's from Croatia, somebody's from Slovakia, I can't speak now, and myself from America. So we've all been through it, and we will give you everything you could possibly need to make sure that you are fully prepared for the visa application process and the visa interview process. Are all schools in the EU, so I think this question is asking if every school in the EU doesn't require an SAT or ACT score. I am honestly not sure about that, but I would assume no, again, because that is a very US specific thing. All schools in the United States require it, but within the EU, the only reason why they would is if they are a branch of an American school, not a specific EU school. To what universities in the USA do students from AAU go to after their bachelor's studies? Oh, many. It would take me a very long time to list all of them. A lot of people do like to go on, for example, to like Kent State or to USC or to Chapman University because we have a lot of partnerships with them. But the WASC accreditation that we have, the one that's based out of California, we are actually only one of 11 schools internationally that have that accreditation. So there's a variety of options available to you for higher education. As a non-EU member, can I stay in Czechia to work after graduating? Yes, since we are EU accredited, you are able to enter the Czech work market after graduating. Is there an expected SAT, ACT score if you apply with one? No, simply because we don't require them, we have no minimum. Taking one does indicate to us that your level of English is very high because you have to in order to take it. And it does typically allow us to see things like if you have, good math skills, if you wanted to go into the finance department, but we don't have any specific scores that are necessary. So I have to pay for the entire first year of study, and then in the second year, can I count on a scholarship? No, you must pay for the first semester. We pay on a semester basis. So you could pay for the first semester of school out of 6, and then have the next 5 qualify you for the scholarship. It's only the first fall semester that you have to pay for outright, no matter what. Is there a fixed curriculum in programs such as psychology, sociology, etc., or is there a considerable degree of choice when it comes to courses? This is sort of a 50-50 answer. There is, of course, the core credits you must take within them, but then within those programs, there's a list. So we'll say it's groups A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then within each group, there are 3 or 4 courses, and so you'll pick 1 or 2 from each group. If there is a group where you're interested in way more of those courses, then you can take some of those additional ones as electives as well. In general, our programs are extremely customizable, and we find that we are a very accessible school in terms of when you're scheduling your classes and in terms of how many classes you're going to take. So there's a lot of wiggle room to make sure that your degree is exactly what you want it to be. Are you able to switch your major? Are minors or double majors available? You are able to switch your major. Our first semester is our core semester, and in that semester there are classes that are applicable to every single program. You will have to take a composition course, you will have to take a basic CIS course, you will have to take a general history course. So if after your first semester you decide, maybe I don't want to do business with marketing, I want to switch to international relations, that's doable. You just have to write a letter explaining why you want to switch. We present it to the dean and they decide. We do have minors within our programs, and double majors are something that are iffy because of our accreditation. They are possible. We do have students doing them. However, some of our courses are going to have the same classes required. So for example, if you have one, then you both have to take, say, history of the Cold War. That class cannot count for both. So you would have to take either an equivalent or the same class twice because our accreditation doesn't allow for dual class credits to count. It's a little bit complicated, I'm sorry. If you want any clarification on that, please feel free to ask more or to email. What are some study abroad programs and which countries are they in? They're all over the world. My favorite one to mention, just because it's literal paradise, is we do have one in Fiji, which I think is really cool. But we've had students go to the Netherlands, we've had students go to Malaysia, to South America, to North America, Israel. I think there are some schools in Morocco. They're all over the world. There's a list on our website, actually. You can either look for it or email, and I would be happy to send it to you. What is the approximate faculty to student ratio, average number of students in a class? Typically speaking, we have between 10 to 15 students in a class. Some of them will get as large as 25, but they are capped at 25. You will never have more than 25 people in a class with you. Typically speaking, we also have between 800 and 1,000 students on our campus at any given time. This does depend on how many students are study abroad though. So in the spring, for example, we typically have more like 800. In the fall, it's more like 1,000. The ratio is a little bit difficult to say simply because not all of our faculty are full-time faculty. Some of them are rotating. We have faculty that one semester will teach in Vienna and then they'll go and teach in Oregon and then they'll come and teach with us. So sometimes, it could be like 5 to 1, sometimes it could be 3 to 1, sometimes it's 10 to 1. It really just depends on the individual semester. Is there more competition among students to get into specific programs and courses if they are admitted later? No. If we have a lot of students who need a specific course, we'll just open another section of that course. Business, for example, is our largest program, and so for the core credits that everybody must take within business, we'll typically have 3 or 4 sections of that course open at any given time. It is never our goal to make you take longer than the prescribed 3 years. We want to make sure that all of our students can begin and end classes on the timelines that they have signed up for. So we try our best to make sure that everybody is able to take the courses they need when they want to take them. Does the university accept college level classes that one received credit for while in high school? I assume by this you mean like AP credits, that kind of thing. We don't accept AP credits because our European accreditation does not respond to them. That being said, if you have them, it does look very good for you, and it does kind of give you a bit of an edge when you are applying. It is considered very strongly that you have taken college level credits. But unless you took them, at a college, like say you had a class at a community college, then we can't accept them. We can only accept actual university courses because of our accreditation. If I have been studying the International Baccalaureate program and studied at an international school, do I have to do the English proficiency exam? No. The IB degree waives your need to have an English proficiency exam. Are there advantages and disadvantages to applying early? Yes, of course, there are advantages always. Primarily, this is for visa-seeking students, however. It will guarantee that you absolutely have enough time to get your visa. It also guarantees that none of the early registration classes are going to fill up. The only disadvantage I could see to applying late, other than possibly not getting your visa, is, in one given semester, there are obviously some classes that are more popular than others. So your first semester, you might not be able to take that class you were super excited about if you apply late, and you'll have to wait until the spring to take it instead. But otherwise, applying earlier is always better, simply because it means that you'll have everything taken care of, you'll have the classes you wanted, and you don't have to worry about maybe not having the exact experience you were hoping for immediately. So I see that there are some questions in chat. I'm going to check those very quickly. There are no more in the Q&A. And it looks like everything in chat has been taken care of. So that being said, we have another in the Q&A. Do honors classes in high school transfer and affect your weighted GPA? No high school classes will transfer, again, because of our dual accreditation. The issue with this, as though the EU may have recognized some EU level courses, the American accreditation does not. Likewise, even though in the US you can take an AP level course and pass that exam and you get a 5 and it would transfer, the EU doesn't have that same equivalent. So because we're dual accredited, it does mean that unless the courses you took while in high school were taken at a legitimate university, no high school credits will transfer. Just curious, how many students from the CIS? If by this you mean our CIS program, that is a new program. It hasn't launched yet, so we don't have any real data for it. I apologize, but I can tell you that there is a lot of interest, and we're very, very excited for it. So really looking forward to fall 2021 to see where that program goes. Is it a race diversity school just because everything happening in the USA? Is it safe for a person of color? Yes, in general, the Czech Republic is a very safe place, period. But even within race, we have, of course, Black people from the United States, but we also have people straight up from Africa. Like, it's an incredibly diverse environment. And Czech people tend not to, I don't want to say they don't care, because that sounds apathetic, and that is absolutely not how Czech people are. But they're more the mind their own business type. They're happy, they're living their lives, they're going about their business, you'll go about your business. It's not a place where you need to worry about anything unsafe happening. Which IELTS do we need to have? We accept IELTS score of 6. We need a 5.5 in every subcategory. Now, if you have a 5.5, that doesn't automatically preclude you from getting in. It just means that the dean may ask you to please go into a pre-comp class, or to provide new scores if one of your individual subcategories is particularly low. What is the CIS program? That is our Computer Information Systems program in partnership with Kent State, so computer sciences. Is there a way in which we could get now students from our programs in the fall. Personally, I still haven't met anybody applying to the same program as me. Yes, so actually we have a Facebook page once you are admitted, and when you join that, you can simply post, I am a part of the law program. I'd love to meet with other people who are also in law. We do have a number of people currently enrolled in the law program for fall, and they should all be in the admitted students Facebook page. Is the WASC accreditation accepted by law schools in the US? Yes, the WASC accreditation is a US accreditation, so it is accepted everywhere in the United States. It is specifically located in the US. Is there a certain date that the offer of admission must be accepted by? This is dependent on the country that you're from. If you need a visa, then yeah, you need to accept it, I would say 3 to 4 months prior to the start of classes. For this upcoming semester, that's not as much of an issue solely because a lot of people will not be traveling because of COVID fears. And so you can take classes online, but we typically do recommend that you accept the offer of admission 3 to 4 months prior to the start of classes. So roughly around now, if you are interested in coming for fall 2020. If we travel to Prague, can we visit to see the school in person? Of course, yes, absolutely. I am actually the person who does those tours. So if you are interested in scheduling a tour to see the school and to maybe meet with the people who are already on campus, please email me, rebecca.newhouse@aauni.edu. I would be more than happy to meet with you and show you around. Do you have any medical studies? We do not, no. We are a liberal arts school, and so we do not offer medical sciences. This one simply says hello. So hello, I think more is coming, but it was nice. Hi. So we will leave this open, I think, for about another 10 minutes to see any last questions coming in, and then we'll go ahead and shut down the webinar. Is it possible to study for an exchange in England? Yes, absolutely. We have a number of different universities in the UK and England specifically. So 100%. Actually, our coordinator for the study abroad program is himself, part British. So it's a great way to get to England to study abroad. Okay. If that is all, then I would like to say thank you to everyone for attending our online webinar. Again, if you have any questions, please email. We know that a lot of times people think of questions later on, and so there's no harm in simply emailing and saying, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I'd be more than happy to answer. I see another one. Can you elaborate about the Erasmus program? Erasmus is through the EU. I'm not sure where the asker of this question is from, but essentially it's a direct exchange program. So if we have an Erasmus agreement, then we would nominate you to go to whatever school you choose. And if the nomination is accepted, then you just pick up and do a semester on that campus and then come back. It's a direct exchange program. If you're not from the EU, you can still do it because we are an EU school. It's just, you know, EU people are a little bit more familiar with it because it is standard. As I said, it's simply a direct exchange program. So you can do Erasmus, meaning you pick up and you go as if nothing has changed. Or if you wanted to go to a school that we don't have an Erasmus agreement yet, essentially it means you may need to pay a little bit more, or maybe you need to find housing there, but that's all stuff that we help with, and all of the information is laid out about if the university is Erasmus or non-Erasmus. Oh, I think we just lost one. I saw one and it went away, so give me just a second. Let me see if I can find it again. It says, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, okay, so let's see, one more about Erasmus. What is the difference of the Erasmus exchange to other exchange with the university? Again, it's just direct exchange. Erasmus just means that you pick up and you go there, and there's like very little that you actually have to worry about in terms of finding housing, paying more, will the credits transfer? Like it just means that it's all taken care of already. Non-Erasmus means that you can go and maybe one credit that you take at that school we don't have an equivalent for, so you'll have to do maybe some extra paperwork or write up, or you know, you might have to find a different dorm, but again, we'll help you with it. Okay, so my father wants me to take a Mongolian state exam in July. Would it be okay to pay my tuition then? He wants me to focus on my exam for now. Yes, of course. Again, if you wait to pay tuition, it might have an impact on whether or not you get your visa on time, but since we're offering online courses for the fall 2020, that's not something that you need to worry about. If your father wants you to focus on the exam, then I would say do what your father wants, and we'll be happy to help you in any way once you are able to pay tuition and continue on. Is there any teaching language program or course? No, we don't offer teaching courses, but however, a lot of our students do teach different languages. There is a really interesting expat community in Prague where a lot of people want to learn other languages. And that being said, there are also a lot of certificate programs in Prague to learn how to teach. So you can do those at the same time as your normal studies. There's a lot of opportunities available for pretty much any interest you could possibly want to pursue. Okay, so this says, does the visa processing start on again? I think by that you mean, has it begun? Yes, visa processing has started again, not for all countries, simply because some countries are still, shut down. Some of them don't necessarily have the offices open, but for the Czech Republic specifically, we are processing visas again. So if you have any questions about for your country individually, please email. We'll be happy to get into specifics. Is there a work-study option for students available through the university? Not at this time specifically. However, there are a lot of different employment options available. We can talk about those more as you progress. But in general, we don't typically offer a work-study option because we are a very small school. Do I need a CV or resume while applying for bachelor's? Yes, you do. If you don't have any work experience, that's fine. Please just tell us about your hobbies and interests and skills. We're going to look at the CV during your interview so that we can get to know you a little bit better. As I stated, we like to evaluate people holistically. We want to make sure that you're a good fit for us and that we're a good fit for you. So the CV is a good way to let us know what kinds of things you're interested in, what kinds of things you've done before, and what sort of things you might want to go towards in your future. Okay. So that being said, we're going to shut the webinar down now. If there's anything else, please email. We do really appreciate everything. More questions are coming in. I feel bad. We'll wait until 4 and then we'll shut it down. So if you have any questions, please get them in the next 4 minutes. So is there a boxing club or gym in Prague? Yes, there's many. We actually have a martial arts club right now. If you wanted a boxing specific club, you can absolutely start it. Czechs are extremely active. So no matter what interest you have in terms of physical activities, Krav Maga, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, general gym, it's definitely available, yes. I studied a year abroad in the Czech Republic in high school and traveled to Berlin with the school to get my Czech visa. I am confused as if I should get my visa in the country or not. You cannot apply for a study visa for the Czech Republic in the Czech Republic. You have to apply to Czech embassy. So for example, if you were already in the Czech Republic and you needed to apply, then you would have to go to like Vienna or Berlin or Bratislava to go to the Czech embassies there. I hope that's more helpful for you. Okay, so I hope all of you are staying safe in these trying times. I hope that all of you are starting to see the light at the end of the proverbial tunnel in regards to COVID-19. And if you are in the United States, I hope you are staying safe. A lot of things are happening there right now. Worldwide, we know that this is a very uncertain time for many people, and we know that a lot of people are feeling very nervous about traveling. So we would like to do our best to assure you things are reopening here. COVID is very much under control. This is an incredibly safe country, and we are very much looking forward to having all of you join us and pursue your education with us. So again, on behalf of all of us, a huge thank you for joining us, and email us with any other questions. We hope to see you soon. Goodbye.